Have you ever stopped and wondered why your life has never fit neatly into the boxes prepared for you? Why, even when you tried to blend in, something inside you resisted? Why comfort never fully satisfied you, and success without meaning felt strangely hollow? What if the unrest you feel is not confusion but remembrance? What if the questions that keep you awake at night are not signs of weakness, but signals that something ancient inside you is waking up? Beloved chosen one, listen carefully. This moment is not accidental. You did not click on this by chance. Something in you recognized a frequency before your mind could catch up. Ask yourself honestly, why have you always felt watched by destiny? Why does your soul react when truth is spoken, even before it is fully explained? Why do you sense that your life is being weighed on a scale far heavier than ordinary standards? You have lived with the quiet awareness that you were marked, even if you never had the language for it. From an early age, you noticed you were different, not better different. You felt deeper. You questioned more. You saw through illusions that others accepted without resistance. And because of that, life pressed you harder. People misunderstood you. Systems rejected you. Relationships tested you. Yet somehow, you endured. Ask yourself this: if you were truly insignificant, why did adversity introduce itself so early? Why were you trained by pressure instead of comfort? Why did trials shape you before applause ever found you? This is where the hidden truth begins to surface. The pressure was never meant to crush you. It was meant to reveal you. You were never designed to remain hidden forever, but you were protected long enough to be prepared. There are seasons when God hides his instruments, not because they lack value, but because premature exposure would damage what he is shaping in secret. Think back. How many times did you almost give up? How many moments did you feel unseen, unheard, overlooked? And yet, something kept restraining you from quitting entirely. Something whispered, "Not yet." That was not optimism. That was assignment. Chosen one, your life has been moving according to a schedule you could not see. While others measured progress by speed, heaven measured you by depth. While the world chased visibility, you were trained in invisibility. Because when the time comes, what is revealed must stand. Ask yourself another question. What if the very things you resented were the tools that sharpened your discernment? What if betrayal taught you wisdom? What if isolation refined your hearing? What if delay preserved your humility? You are not late. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are emerging. There is a reason your spirit reacts strongly to truth. There is a reason shallow conversations exhaust you. There is a reason you feel called to something you cannot fully explain. You were never meant to live small, think small, or obey fear. You were marked for alignment, not approval. And now the hiding season is ending. The reason this message feels heavy is because revelation carries weight. When God begins to lift the veil, responsibility follows clarity. Once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you know, you cannot return to sleep. That is why this awakening often begins with questions rather than answers. Questions stretch the soul. Questions prepare the mind for truth. So let me ask you plainly, if everything you endured was preparation, are you willing to step into what it prepared you for? If the silence was protection, are you ready for visibility? If the waiting was mercy, will you honor it with obedience? Heaven has not forgotten you. Heaven has been watching. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah long before you took your first breath, declaring that calling comes before consciousness and purpose precedes time itself. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as one sent with purpose. This is not symbolic language. This is a spiritual reality. You were known before you were named. You were set apart before you were seen. Your life did not begin at birth, it entered visibility then, and everything you have endured has been moving you toward alignment with what was spoken over you before the world ever touched you. Chosen one, tonight the truth is brushing against your spirit because God can no longer keep this hidden. Not because you are exposed, but because you are ready. Ready to remember who you are. Ready to release who you are not. Ready to accept that your life has always been part of something far greater than survival. Before we go any further, mark this moment. If this message resonates with you, take one intentional step like this message. Share it with someone who needs awakening. Subscribe so you remain connected, and comment the number 77 below as a sign that you are willing to remember, realign, and rise. You are beginning to understand something now that once felt cruel and confusing. The pressure you endured was never punishment. It was proof. Proof that your life carried weight before you ever knew how to name it. Proof that heaven trusted you with resistance, because resistance was the only language strong enough to shape you. Think back carefully, Samam. The moments when you felt singled out, the seasons when everything seemed harder for you than for others. You watched people take shortcuts while you were forced to take the long way around. You saw others receive favor quickly while you were refined slowly. At the time, it felt unfair. It felt isolating. But now you can sense the deeper truth. Your soul was being trained, not tormented. You were not delayed because you were unworthy. You were delayed because timing matters when destiny is involved. A blade forged too quickly snaps under pressure. A foundation poured too fast cracks under weight. So God allowed the process to take its time with you. He allowed life to press against you until false layers fell away and only what was essential remained. Pressure revealed what praise never could. When people misunderstood you, you learned discernment. When support disappeared, you learned dependence on God rather than applause. When doors closed without explanation, you learned obedience without clarity. These lessons do not form ordinary people. They form carriers of assignment. You may have asked yourself in the past, why me? But the better question was always, why not me? Why wouldn't heaven entrust difficulty to someone strong enough to survive it? Why wouldn't God invest deeply in a vessel meant to carry depth? You were taught endurance because your future requires stamina. You were taught patience because your calling unfolds in layers. You were taught silence because your voice will one day carry authority, not noise. Look at the pattern. Whenever you reached a moment of almost breakthrough, resistance intensified. So whenever you chose growth, comfort retreated. Whenever you aligned with truth, relationships shifted. That was not coincidence. That was refinement responding to obedience. The world teaches that ease is evidence of correctness. Heaven teaches that endurance is evidence of calling. There were moments you felt overlooked, but in reality you were being overseen, watched, measured, strengthened. The fire did not consume you because it was not sent to destroy you. It was sent to reveal what could not burn. You carry a resilience that cannot be explained by personality alone. You survived things that should have hardened you, yet somehow they softened you instead. You did not lose compassion. You did not lose faith. You did not lose the ability to hope. That alone testifies that something divine has been sustaining you. Pressure refined your priorities. It taught you what truly matters. It stripped away superficial ambition and replaced it with holy hunger. You stopped chasing validation and started seeking alignment. You stopped asking, "How do I win?" and started asking, "How do I obey?" This is how chosen lives are shaped quietly, painfully, intentionally. And now you are beginning to see that the delays were not denials. They were protections. Some doors did not open because you were not meant to enter them as the version of yourself you were then. Some relationships ended because they could not survive where you were being taken. Some dreams collapsed because they were too small for what God intends to place in your hands. You were not being punished. You were being prepared. The weight you carried strengthened spiritual muscle. The loneliness sharpened your hearing. The setbacks recalibrated your motives. Every season that felt like loss was actually subtraction, removing what could not go forward with you. And here is the truth few people ever hear: if your life had been easier, you might have stayed asleep. Comfort dulls calling. Resistance awakens it. That is why you could never fully settle, even in moments of peace. There was a sense that something more was required of you. Not more achievement, but more surrender, more courage, more truth. Heaven never wastes pain. Every tear you shed watered something unseen. Every prayer you whispered in exhaustion echoed louder than you realize. You were heard. You were seen. You were held even when it felt like you were standing alone. The ancient writings remind us that fear was never meant to govern a chosen life, because fear paralyzes purpose and distorts identity. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Read that slowly. Power, love, soundness. These are not gifts given to those meant to live cautiously. These are endowments for those meant to stand firm under weight. Fear was never part of your design. It was an intruder, not an instructor. When fear tried to silence you, power was forming. When confusion tried to overwhelm you, soundness was taking root. When bitterness tried to claim you, love was being strengthened. The very things meant to derail you were used to develop you. And now, as the pressure begins to lift, clarity follows. You are starting to recognize patterns. You are seeing how everything connects. The pieces that once felt random now align with unsettling precision. This awareness can feel heavy, but it is also freeing. You are no longer interpreting your life through the lens of failure, but through the lens of formation. You are shaped for responsibility, not comfort. For impact, not invisibility, honor for truth, not convenience. The pressure was proof that heaven was involved all along. There is a temptation you must learn to resist at this stage of awakening: the urge to fight too soon. When clarity begins to rise, when truth sharpens your awareness, the instinct is to confront everything at once. You want to explain yourself. You want to defend your name. You want to correct misunderstandings, expose opposition, and prove what you carried in. But this is not the instruction for this season. Do not rush into battle. Stand firm in identity first. Many chosen ones lose ground not because they are weak, but because they move before they are anchored. They react instead of remain. They speak before they are rooted. But authority does not come from volume or speed, it comes from stability. The enemy is not intimidated by how loudly you declare truth. It is unsettled by how calmly you embody it. You must understand this deeply. Not every attack requires a response. Not every provocation deserves your energy. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. Some battles dissolve when you refuse to step into them prematurely. Your first assignment is not confrontation, it is alignment. Standing firm in identity means you no longer chase validation from people who cannot recognize what you carry. It means you stop explaining yourself to environments that benefit from misunderstanding you. It means you choose peace over performance, obedience over urgency. When you stand still in who you are, confusion around you begins to expose itself. When you stop scrambling to prove your calling, those who oppose it begin to reveal their motives. Stability becomes your shield. This is practical wisdom for the chosen life identity before action. You are learning how to govern your reactions. Silence is amplifying your authority. Stillness is sharpening your discernment. This is not passivity. This is discipline. A trained soldier does not fire wildly, they wait for precision. There will be moments when it feels unnatural not to respond. Your emotions will urge movement. Your past conditioning will demand defense. But this is where maturity is forged. You are no longer led by impulse, you are led by instruction. Standing firm means you check your footing daily. You remind yourself who you are before you remind the world. You anchor your worth in truth, not feedback. You resist the urge to self-promote or self-protect excessively. You let God be your witness. This posture does something powerful. It shifts the battlefield. When you stand in identity, battles come to you already weakened. Opposition loses momentum. Resistance begins to expose its own emptiness. You are not avoiding conflict, you are letting it exhaust itself against your immovability. Here is a practical discipline you must adopt now before reacting. Pause and ask, does this require my voice or my presence many times? Your presence alone carries more authority than words ever could. Another discipline: choose your timing carefully. Just because you see clearly does not mean it is time to speak publicly. Revelation ripens. Premature release can dilute its impact. What is meant to carry weight must be carried with patience. You are also learning to separate spiritual battles from emotional ones. Not everything that hurts is an attack. Not everything that frustrates you is resistance. Sometimes discomfort is simply growth stretching you beyond old limits. Do not mislabel training as warfare. Standing firm in identity requires daily grounding. You return to truth repeatedly. You refuse to let temporary emotions rewrite eternal calling. You do not measure yourself by today's outcome, but by God's long-term intent. This is how you conserve spiritual energy. You stop bleeding strength into unnecessary struggles. You become selective, focused, rooted. And here is something crucial: when you stand firm, God fights differently on your behalf. He does not need your panic to move. He responds to trust, not haste. When you remain steady, you invite divine intervention instead of human reaction. There is a reason your spirit has been urged toward stillness lately. A reason conversations have slowed. A reason movement has paused. This is not stagnation. This is positioning. A tower must be still to be strong. The ancient words recorded in the Psalms speak directly to this moment, reminding you that stability in God is not weakness, but refuge and strength. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. Be still and know. Stillness comes before knowing, identity before action, trust before triumph. This verse is not an invitation to inactivity. It is a command to stop striving for control and start resting in authority. When you know who God is, you no longer panic about who you are. When you know who you belong to, you stop fighting for recognition. Your standing firm is not delaying victory, it is preparing it. Now, There is one simple practice I want you to take seriously. It may seem small, but it is intentional. At this point in the journey, articulation matters. Speaking reinforces alignment. Comment this phrase below, keeping it under 4 words: I stand firm. This is not engagement for noise. This is declaration. When you write it, you are training your mind to agree with your spirit. You are signaling to yourself that you choose stability over reaction, identity over impulse, trust over urgency. Words shape posture. Posture shapes outcomes. Posture. You are not avoiding battle. You are choosing the ground on which it will be won. Remain where you are. Stand as you are. Let identity settle deeper than emotion. What is coming next will require this foundation. There comes a moment in every chosen life when silence stops being protection and starts becoming disobedience. A moment when hiding is no longer wisdom, but fear dressed up as patience. This is the moment Esther faced, and it is the moment you are approaching now. Esther did not begin her story as a warrior. She began hidden, orphaned, displaced, quiet. She was raised in the shadows, guided by Mordecai, instructed to conceal her identity. For a season, that silence was strategic. It preserved her. It positioned her. It allowed her to enter a place of influence without drawing premature attention. And that should tell you something important. God sometimes commands silence before he commands speech. Esther became queen not by force, not by ambition, but by favor. Yet even as queen, she remained hidden. Her people were unknown, her calling unannounced, her voice restrained, until the day a decree of destruction was released against her people, a sentence written in ink, sealed by power, designed to erase an entire lineage. This is where the story turns. Mordecai came to her with a warning that shattered the illusion of safety. He told her what many chosen ones must eventually hear. Silence will not save you now. The palace will not protect you. Your position will not exempt you. If you remain quiet, deliverance may come from another place, but you will lose your assignment. That sentence should echo in your spirit. Esther stood at a crossroads. To speak meant risk. To remain silent meant loss. And here is the weight of it. She could not undo the danger by herself. But she could no longer pretend neutrality was an option. This is the burden of visibility. Esther fasted. She sought clarity. She did not rush emotionally into action. She prepared spiritually. And when she moved with precision, not panic. She approached the king with humility and wisdom, understanding timing matters as much as courage. Her bravery was not loud, it was deliberate. She revealed her identity at the appointed moment. She spoke when heaven aligned the room. And when she did, the tables turned. The very trap meant for her people became the downfall of the enemy. What was written in destruction was rewritten in deliverance. But notice this, none of it happened while she stayed silent. This is not a story about impulsive boldness. It is a story about obedient courage. Esther did not speak to prove herself. She spoke because silence was no longer permitted. And this is where the story meets you. You have been hidden for a reason. Your silence was once wisdom. Your restraint was once protection. But there comes a point where staying quiet costs more than speaking ever could. A point where your obedience requires exposure. This does not mean shouting at everyone. It does not mean reckless confrontation. It means honoring the moment when God says, "Now." Esther teaches us that identity cannot remain concealed forever. When the threat reaches assignment level, revelation is required. When the call becomes public, fear must step aside. You may feel the tension Esther felt, the awareness that staying comfortable means betraying purpose. the realization that you were placed where you are not for decoration, but for intervention. And like Esther, you may be tempted to think someone else will speak, someone else will act, someone else will risk. But chosen ones are not chosen for convenience. They are chosen for moments like this. The sacred record captures the weight of this moment in a single sentence that still confronts hearts today, as was spoken in the book of Esther, chapter 4, verse 14. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? That question was not rhetorical. It was a summons. For such a time as this, not earlier, not later, not when it feels safe, not when applause is guaranteed, but when obedience is costly and silence is no longer an option. Esther's courage unlocked protection for thousands. Her obedience rewrote a national outcome. Her willingness to be seen activated divine reversal. And here is the truth you must face gently but honestly. Your life intersects more people than you realize. Your obedience shields others. Your silence delays relief. You are not carrying this weight alone, but you are carrying a piece of it no one else can replace. This is why the pressure has increased. This is why clarity is rising. This is why hiding feels heavier than exposure. You are approaching your Esther moment. And when that moment arrives, you will not need to strive. You will simply need to stand where God places you and speak what He gives you. Nothing more, nothing less. If this story resonates with you, if you sense that you are nearing a moment where obedience matters more than comfort, stay connected, like this message, so it reaches those who need courage. Share it with someone standing at their own crossroads. Subscribe so you remain aligned as this journey continues. You are not hidden to disappear. You are hidden to be revealed at the right time, for the right reason, with heaven standing behind you. There is a cost to remaining hidden once the season of hiding has ended. This is the truth few are willing to say plainly. What once protected you can now imprison you. What once preserved you can now delay others. And what once felt wise can quietly become disobedience if you cling to it too long. You are not being rushed, but you are being summoned. At this stage of your journey, hesitation carries weight. Not because God is impatient, but because clarity has already been given. You are no longer unaware. You are no longer guessing. You see enough now to be responsible for what you do next. And responsibility is the dividing line between innocence and obedience. Remaining hidden now does not keep you safe. It keeps you small. You may tell yourself you are waiting for more confirmation, but deep down you know the truth. Confirmation has already come in pieces, patterns, and persistent conviction. You may say you are waiting for the right moment, but the moment has been pressing on your spirit for some time now. The discomfort you feel is not confusion. It is friction between who you are and where you are still standing. This is where many chosen ones stall. They mistake God's patience for permission to delay. They confuse mercy with approval. They do not realize that mercy gives room to repent, not room to retreat. And when that window is open, it is an invitation, not a guarantee that it will remain open forever. Hear this carefully, without fear but with clarity. Delay has consequences. Not punishment, but loss of momentum, loss of alignment, loss of impact. The danger of staying hidden too long is not that God abandons you. It is that you begin to doubt yourself. You begin to shrink your language. You soften your conviction. You negotiate with truth. You slowly disconnect from the urgency that once burned clean and bright inside you. This is how calling dulls, not suddenly but quietly. You start telling yourself you will speak later, act later, step forward later. But later becomes a moving target. And while you wait, others suffer from the absence of what you carry. Others remain bound because you withheld what was meant to be released through you. This is not condemnation. This is awakening. God does not reveal truth to burden you. He reveals it to position you. But once revealed, truth demands movement. Not reckless movement, not emotional movement, but obedient movement. You may feel fear rising as you consider stepping out. That fear is not proof you are wrong. Often it is proof that you are standing at the edge of obedience. Fear always flares when identity threatens stagnation. Staying hidden now costs you peace. It costs you joy. It costs you alignment. You may still function, but you will feel increasingly restless, increasingly heavy, increasingly disconnected from the flow that once carried you. This is not because God withdrew. It is because you outgrew the place you are still trying to occupy. There is also a spiritual reality many overlook when you refuse to move forward in calling. You leave space for unnecessary battles. Resistance intensifies not because you advanced, but because you did not. Stagnation creates vulnerability. Motion creates covering. Obedience does not remove opposition, but it places you where grace meets resistance head-on. You are not meant to hide forever. Hidden seasons are wombs, not tombs. They prepare life, but life must eventually be born. And birth is never comfortable, but it is necessary. This is where you must be honest with yourself. What are you afraid of losing if you step forward? Control, familiarity, approval, identity as the one who is still becoming instead of the one who has arrived. Every transition requires surrender. You cannot keep the safety of hiding and the fulfillment of calling at the same time. And here is the deeper truth: God will not force you. Love never coerces. He will invite, warn, confirm, and wait, but he will not override your will. That is why Scripture speaks so soberly about moments of decision, moments when delay carries spiritual weight. The ancient words recorded in the book of Proverbs speak directly into this tension between hesitation and obedience. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 18, where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint, but blessed is the one who keeps instruction. Vision is not just sight, it is responsibility. Once you see, you must choose. Without vision, people drift. With vision, people decide. You have vision now. Not the full picture, but enough. Enough to take the next step. Enough to stop hiding behind uncertainty. Enough to choose obedience over delay. And here is the mercy still present in this moment. The door is not shut. The invitation remains open. Conviction is still active. That means grace is still speaking. But grace speaks so that you will move, not so that you will remain still. If you feel this stirring in your spirit, do not suppress it. Mark it. Seal it. Respond to it intentionally. There is power in agreement, especially when resistance is trying to quiet resolve. Comment the number 999 below. This number represents completion of the old cycle and readiness to step into the next assignment. By writing it, you are acknowledging that the hiding season has taught you what it needed to teach you, and that you are willing to move forward without needing every detail explained. This is not about public display. It is about internal decision. Decisions unlock momentum. You are not behind, but you are being called forward. Now the choice becomes unmistakably clear. It is no longer about whether you are called. You know that you are. It is about what you will value more, comfort or the crown. One offers familiarity, predictability, and approval. The other demands courage, separation, and obedience. Both cannot be held at the same time. Comfort asks you to stay recognizable. The crown requires transformation. You feel this tension daily. Part of you longs for peace that comes from staying where expectations are low and risks are manageable. Another part of you aches for alignment, even if it costs you relationships, routines, and reputation. This inner conflict is not confusion, it is transition. You are standing between who you have been and who you are becoming. Choosing the crown does not mean choosing suffering for its own sake. It means choosing purpose over ease. It means accepting that growth will stretch you beyond what feels safe. It means allowing God to redefine success in your life. Comfort keeps you agreeable. The crown makes you authoritative. When you choose comfort, you can remain liked but ineffective. When you choose the crown, you may be misunderstood, but you will be impactful. This is the hidden trade-off few are willing to face honestly. You have already tasted both worlds. You know what it feels like to suppress truth to keep peace. You know how heavy it feels to compromise conviction for acceptance. And you also know the quiet strength that rises when you stand aligned, even if you stand alone. The crown does not arrive with applause. It arrives with responsibility. It requires that you say no more often than yes, that you leave rooms where you are tolerated but not honored, that you release roles that once defined you but now confine you. This is not arrogance, it is discernment. You are learning that obedience simplifies life even as it intensifies it. When you choose the crown, decisions become clearer, though not always easier. You stop negotiating with what you already know. You stop revisiting choices God has already settled in your spirit. Comfort keeps options open. The crown closes some doors permanently. This finality can feel frightening, but it is also freeing. When God closes a door, it is not to limit you, it is to focus you. Scattered energy produces noise. Focused obedience produces authority. You are stepping into a season where half commitments will no longer work. Partial obedience will feel increasingly uncomfortable. You will sense conviction faster. Course correction will come quicker. This is not pressure, it is precision. The crown also requires humility, not the humility that shrinks, but the humility that submits. You acknowledge that you cannot carry this calling in your own strength. You stop trying to manage perception and start trusting God with outcomes. This is where many resist, because comfort allows control. The crown requires surrender. You will not always understand why obedience costs what it costs. Some separations will feel abrupt. Some endings will lack closure. Some obedience will make sense only in hindsight, but clarity is not the prerequisite for faith, trust is. And here is the quiet truth: when you choose the crown, God begins to defend you differently. You may lose human protection, but you gain divine covering. You may lose convenience, but you gain clarity. You may lose familiarity, but you gain authority. This is why your old coping mechanisms no longer work. Why distractions feel empty. Why surface-level success feels unsatisfying. You are being recalibrated for weight. The crown is not about status, it is about stewardship. You are being entrusted with influence, not always public, but always purposeful. Influence over environments, over atmospheres, over outcomes. That kind of weight requires integrity, discipline, and courage. Choosing the crown also means choosing patience. Crowns are not rushed into place. They are fitted, tested, seated in time. You may carry it before others recognize it. That does not make it any less real. There will be moments you miss the simplicity of comfort. Moments you wonder if it would be easier to step back. But once you have seen clearly, retreat costs more than advance ever could. You cannot unknow what you know. You cannot unhear what God has spoken. This is where resolve forms. The ancient words recorded in the letter to the Corinthians speak directly to this tension between ease and endurance, reminding you that true strength is not proven in comfort, but in perseverance. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 24. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one receives the prize run in such a way as to obtain it? This is not competition against others. This is commitment to finish well. Running to obtain means intentionality, discipline, refusal to settle. You are not being asked to be perfect. You are being asked to be faithful, to choose alignment again and again, even when comfort tempts you to pause. And here is the assurance woven into this choice: God never calls you to what He will not sustain you through. The same grace that awakened you will strengthen you. The same hand that led you out will carry you forward. Choosing the crown does not mean you walk alone. It means you walk led. As you move deeper into this path, peace will not always feel calm, but it will feel right. Joy will not always feel light, but it will feel true. Strength will not always feel loud, but it will endure. You are not abandoning comfort out of obligation. You are releasing it because you have found something weightier. The crown awaits not the fastest, but the faithful. The moment has arrived where hiding is no longer possible, not because you failed to conceal yourself, but because what you carry has grown too heavy to remain unseen. This is the stage where heaven places a seal on you. Not in secret, but in plain sight. You are not being exposed for spectacle. You are being revealed for assignment. There is a difference. Exposure strips, revelation authorizes. You are stepping into a phase where your life speaks before your mouth ever opens, where your presence disrupts patterns, where environments shift simply because you entered them aligned. This is not arrogance. This is responsibility settling into place. You were never meant to stay invisible. You were meant to mature unseen, then emerge undeniable. Now you understand why your preparation took so long, why shortcuts were denied, why imitation never satisfied you. God was not delaying your visibility, He was fortifying your foundation. What is revealed without depth collapses under pressure. What is revealed after refinement stands. You are not being released untested. You are being released sealed. To be sealed means heaven marks what belongs to it. It means authority is recognized before it is announced. It means protection accompanies purpose. This does not mean resistance ends, but it does mean resistance no longer defines you. People may question you. Some may misunderstand you. Others may project their fear onto your obedience, but none of that determines your legitimacy. God's seal does. Being publicly sealed does not always look like a platform. Sometimes it looks like consistency. Sometimes it looks like courage in ordinary places. Sometimes it looks like refusing to shrink when shrinking would be easier. You are sent, not scattered. Sent into conversations where truth has been avoided. Sent into systems where integrity has been diluted. Sent into families, workplaces, communities where light has been dimmed by compromise. You are not sent to dominate, you are sent to restore alignment. This is why your discernment has sharpened, why tolerance for falseness has faded, why you can no longer pretend not to see what you see. With authority comes clarity. With clarity comes responsibility. And here is the part many do not expect when you are publicly sealed. God also trains you in restraint. Not every truth must be spoken immediately. Not every insight must be shared widely. Authority includes knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. You are marked, but you are also measured. Heaven trusts you because you have learned to listen, to wait, to obey even when unseen. That trust now expands your reach, not for personal elevation, but for collective impact. You may notice that people begin to come to you differently. Conversations deepen, confessions surface, questions arise. This is not coincidence. When someone carries alignment, others sense safety. Light invites honesty. Do not underestimate the power of being steady. You are not called to convince everyone. You are called to be consistent. Truth does not argue, it stands. And when truth stands long enough, it exposes everything around it. There will be moments you feel the weight of this responsibility. Moments you long for the simplicity of anonymity. But you must remember, anonymity was a season, not a destination. You were hidden to be formed, not forgotten. Now you are remembered by heaven, recognized by the Spirit, positioned where your obedience intersects with divine timing. And here is the assurance anchoring this moment: you are not stepping forward alone. What God reveals, He also defends. What He sends, He sustains. What He seals, He protects. The ancient words recorded in the letter to the Romans echo with clarity for this very stage of the journey, declaring that opposition is not the final authority, God is. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 31 still echo today. If God is for us, who can be against us? This is not a promise of ease, it is a declaration of position. If God is for you, resistance does not disqualify you. It confirms that your presence matters. It confirms that your obedience disrupts something that relied on silence. You are not moving forward to prove anything. You are moving forward because alignment demands motion. Because truth seeks expression. Because light does not apologize for shining. And as you step into this revealed season, stay connected to what strengthens you. Stay anchored to truth. Stay accountable to obedience. Community matters, not crowds, but alignment. If this message has walked with you through clarity, if it has strengthened your resolve or confirmed what your spirit already knew, support it gently. Like this message so it can reach those still hidden but ready. Share it with someone who needs courage to stand where they are. Subscribe so you remain connected to what continues this journey of alignment and truth. You are not emerging by accident. You are marked. You are sent. You are sealed. As we come to the end of this message, nothing is being closed. Something is being left open on purpose. You are not being pushed toward a final conclusion or a dramatic resolution. You are being released back into your life with awareness. And awareness always continues working long after the words stop. What you have heard is not meant to sit neatly in your mind. It is meant to walk with you, to surface later in quiet moments, to return when you are faced with decisions that feel heavier than logic can explain, to remind you, gently but firmly, that your life carries intention. You are not required to rush. You are not required to prove anything. You are simply invited to remain awake. Awareness changes how you move. It changes how you listen. It changes how you respond to pressure, delay, and opportunity. From here forward, you may notice yourself pausing more often, choosing differently, saying no with more peace, saying yes with more clarity. This is not loss. This is alignment settling in. Some people will feel inspired by what you carry without knowing why. Others may feel unsettled by it. Neither response is your responsibility to manage. Your only responsibility is to remain honest with God and with yourself. Let the message echo, not as noise, but as grounding. Let it remind you that becoming visible does not mean becoming loud, that authority does not need announcement, that obedience does not need applause. You are allowed to grow quietly even while being seen. Nothing more needs to be added right now. Nothing needs to be taken away. What matters is how you walk forward from here, how you steward what has been stirred. If this message has been meaningful to you, you are welcome to acknowledge it in whatever way feels right. You may like it. You may share it with someone who needs steadiness rather than hype, or you may simply carry it with you in silence. All of those are valid responses. This ending is open because your story is still moving. Stay grounded, stay honest, stay aligned,